I say hello.
Hello. Good morning. This is live stream number 83. The Star of Bedlemham.
Bedlemham. Bedlemham.
Woman running chills up and down his spine. Now she's got him crying in his wine. Don't impress me none at all. 'Cause you can tell me about your troubles till you turn blue. No one's got them like I do. Something you don't want, and it's one of a kind. The doctor said, son, you're running out of time. It don't impress me none at all. 'Cause you can tell me about your troubles till you turn blue. No one's got them like I do. Jump off the bridge into the San Francisco Bay. Let the waters carry you away. It don't impress me none at all. You can tell me about your troubles till you turn blue in the face. No one's got the blues like I do. so sick and tired hearing everyone complain about their little troubles raining on their baseball game. It don't impress me none at all. You can tell me about your troubles till you turn blue. No one's got them like I do.
Just leave it running. Story time. Here, your turn. Story time.
So this story takes place in 2011 in Belgrade at Christmas time, or Belgrade, as they say. It has the moniker of the city that never sleeps, and we can attest to that. Belgrade is one of the oldest inhabited European cities in the world, where the Danube and Sava rivers merge. It's home to the Belgrade Philharmonic. It's ranked as the 5th greatest orchestra in Europe. The orchestra was revitalized after the 90s conflict by the new executive director, Ivan, notably with white spiked hair. The players were hand-selected, gifted virtuosos with an average age of 28. In order to raise money for the revitalization of the orchestra, Ivan took out an ad that read, "The Belgrade Philharmonic, one of the finest orchestras in the world, is now available for bar mitzvahs and weddings." The ad garnered global attention and was picked up by the Associated Press International and was the absolute talk of the entertainment circuit around the world. Ivan was wildly creative, very eccentric, and endlessly clever, and loved uniquely different, highly exciting presentations. So he jumped right on the unusual idea of having a blues harmonica virtuoso from Chicago as the big Christmas holiday event, as his choice for guest soloist with the orchestra. Corky also returned the following year as guest soloist. The guest conductor was our very dear friend, Maestro Stephen Gunzenhauser. He had connected with Robert Bokor, a world-renowned soloist, as well as being the artistic director for the Belgrade Philharmonic. Traditionally, after the last performance, the orchestra management usually takes the soloist out for dinner, as well as the maestro for a big celebration. Ivan mentioned that he would host the after-concert dinner at his wife's pub's restaurant called The Crane, situated in a beautiful section of the town on the Danube River. The pub got its name from Ivan's office, which stood looming right behind the pub. It was a small glass box perched on top of a giant construction crane that builds skyscrapers, and it was several stories high. Ivan said that he had the best aerial view of Belgrade in the entire city, and he invited us to ride the elevator up. Being very height challenged, we declined.
Yep.
We had a large breakfast earlier that day and skipped lunch in anticipation of the big post-concert holiday feast that would be awaiting us at the Crane. By the time we arrived after the concert, it was between 11 p.m. and midnight, and we were absolutely starving. Our big reserved table was set with vodka, rare wines, craft beers, aperitifs, every kind of liquor you can imagine, or not imagine. Well, you get the idea. It was party time in this city that never sleeps. Ah, here comes the food. They brought little bowls of sausages and potato salad to our table. Ah, just appetizers. We decided not to spoil our appetite and didn't eat any of it in anticipation of the big holiday Christmas feast to come. As it turns out, that was the feast. The solid part was the side dishes of potato salad and little sausages. The main course was all liquid, needing only a glass, perhaps an umbrella or a straw to complete the meal. As we arrived back in Chicago the next evening, it had just started to lightly snow. We were so exhausted, we went right to bed. I awoke with a bit of jet lag a few hours later and noticed a bright glow coming from the picture window in our living room. I was curious about how this strange bright glow came to be, and I was intrigued to go into the front room to find a blinding white snowstorm coming furiously down, and it seemed that the snow had risen nearly to the top of our windowsills. It obliterated the streets. The cars were completely undetectable and looked like big mogul hills on ski slopes. Our world was buried in silence and white. I really thought I was dreaming. I woke Corky for confirmation, hoping that it was a dream, and he would tell me, "Go back to bed. You didn't see what you thought you saw, and it's not real. Just go back to sleep." He got up, he looked out, and said, I guess I better get out there, get the shovel, or we will be stuck inside the apartment for a week." He began shoveling and shoveling and shoveling, and as the morning sun was coming up, our neighbor Kevin came down. They both created a tunnel through a mountain of snow out the building front door. We decided we should call Maestro Stephen and his wife Shelley to see how they were faring. They had not fared well at all. They landed at Philadelphia Airport, and it took them over 12 hours, a drive of normally 2 hours, to finally make it to their home in Lancaster. Speaking of looking out the front window, Corky has a story for you.
Story time again, double story time. Too many stories. This is, oops, can I stand much? This is called The Star of Bedlemham, or Little Star of Bedlemham. Holly and I, well, first of all, it was December 22nd, not too many days ago. And Holly and I were very excited to see what was thought to be the Star of Bethlehem. In this case, two planets, Venus and Saturn, converging in the early evening sky. It's such a close visual distance that last appeared 800 years ago, before either of us were born. And it would not appear again for a bazillion lifetimes. Chance of a lifetime. We had already missed the big event, but by only one day. This night was said to be our last chance to see the show. Holly and I spent the day trying to figure out the best place and time to view this. We called our friend Louise Frank, who is one of the smartest people in the world we know, and producer of WFMT, and surely she would know what to do. She didn't. So we decided to work it out together. We decided we would research the best spot and drive there in our separate cars at just the right time. We found out that Jupiter and Saturn would appear very near the horizon between 5:30 up to 6:30 p.m. This posed an impossible problem in Chicago, the tight urban city of sky-blocking buildings. What was worse is that even if we found a perfect spot, a giant cloud was, of course, forming. It floated right in front of the viewing area. There was only a little over an hour before the window of opportunity would close. Louise and Holly and I talked at length about what forest preserves, high ground, like maybe the Baha'i Temple, and maybe we could stand on the top step and get a glimpse. Louise suggested driving out to O'Hara, which would have been about a 45-minute drive. And we went on and on trying to figure out what to do. And at one point we decided We should just hop in our cars now and drive out near, in a suburb until we find a good viewing spot. But as we sat in the sunroom at our computer where we had been all day, the cloud kept forming darker and darker. We sort of gave up on the driving idea, knowing the view would probably be blocked by the cloud. So we resorted to finding some webcam views. We searched the internet with all the enthusiasm we had for finding a physical viewing site. But we found nothing. Now the cloud began very quickly moving east. But as I told Louise, even if it clears, which it might not, it's already 5:30, and by the time we find a place, it's going to be too late. As we sat in front of the computer in our sunroom, we gave up on seeing the event in real time, or in person, or even on the internet. And we just have to rely on a video after the fact. Wah, 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 wah. We had given up completely when I gazed out the sunroom window, and there it was, shining brightly right through our sunroom window, over the computer where we were sitting. It was laughing at us, and we were laughing back. We called Louise, and she was able to see it from her street. We hadn't even needed to move an inch. There we were in front of our computer, right where we were all day, and there was the event presenting itself in its full glory. And so we wish upon a star for a better 2021, a happy new year, and peace on earth, goodwill toward man. That was our story time. So now we should say hello, and we should say goodbye. So please, again, go to my website, corkymusic.com, and go to /stream, and all the links to the upcoming Zoom and to our New Year's Eve party. We got a great 90-minute New Year's Eve party with drop-in guests, Ernie Watts, Louise Frank, and
I think you meant to say, not Louise Frank, but you meant to say Lynn Jordan.
Okay. Yeah, Lynn Jordan, not Louise Frank. Oh, man. So, and also, we're going to do a sing-along at midnight on the Zoom. It's a little confusing, but there's also a link to the sing-along that anyone wants. Anytime, at any place, any time zone, the sing-along, the Auld Lang Syne sing-along is up there. And so you could watch it anytime. And I'll put that up on that same webpage, corkymusic.com/stream. Everything will be there and everything will be explained there. So thank you guys. Have a great rest of the morning. We'll Zoom with you if you'd like to join us. And 2021 is coming quickly. It couldn't come any quicker. Bye-bye.
Hey, we have a couple minutes left. Let's listen to the sing-along of Auld Lang Syne that we did for New Year's Eve.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of anxiety? For Lang Syne, my dear, for Lang Syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet, and the
and days old lang syne. Take it, Ernie. Oldest pleasures he forgot and never brought to mind the past forgone, the future here. Wave goodbye to old lang syne. From all the days of old, my dear, from all the days gone by, we offer only kindness now. Let the days gone by go by. Now the traditional version. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? Take it out, Ernie.
Whew. 2020. I only have one thing to say to you, 2020. Bye. Bye, Felicia. Goodbye. And Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Bye, 2020.
Wishing you a Happy New Year from Syne!